What happens to a man when he realizes he is being watched by God? Yes, the one and only, the Christian God, Lord Almighty, Jesus Christ Himself. I know that gets a little bit confusing too. I get confused because are they the same person? Oh, okay. Oh, one is a human version, and then God is the ultimate version, and human beings are not actually capable of fully comprehending God. So is that why we got Jesus, which is freaking awesome? But I just, if you want to help clarify that for me, please, by all means, you put that down in the comments below. But that is who I'm talking about. So many names, so many names. We got the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. I have some personal nicknames. I'm not going to drop them. I don't want to offend anybody. Yes, the grand creator of it all. Now, brother, for you and me, I mean, just play with that for a second. What do you think happens? Truly, no doubt. Oh, hey, I mean, you can believe whatever you want. You may be a believer, you might be a non believer. It's all good. You vibing tonight. Okay, we headed up. Okay, I usually do a deep dive. I don't think it's really going to be like that tonight. We headed up to that. I'm going to try to. You know for a fact, bro, he's watching. Now, if your immediate thoughts are, that's not cool, I don't want to be watched, that's just weird, I have no desire to be stalked and intruded upon, invaded in this way, everything I do, everywhere I go, everything I think, that's a lot. Yeah, okay, I'll give that to anybody. That is kind of a lot. That'll get you kind of paranoid. You know, it's just, you know, you have this constant. I mean, welcome to the modern world. All right, I'll stick to home. Welcome to America 2026. Okay, when's the last time you've been outside, bro? There's literally a camera like every couple steps. Okay, there's like I'm thinking, isn't this a little bit redundant? Why are there this many cameras on one side of the sidewalk? It's just like, are the cameras filming themselves? Because I feel like one camera is gonna be able to get that whole. All right, you know, forgive me. I was about to go off on a Big Brother spiel, which God is kind of like that. I mean, being omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. This is knowing everything, not limited by anything. Like it. Omnipotent is not strong. Omnipotent is all the power. So I like to try to phrase that as that is just not limited. There's just nothing God cannot do. That's pretty crazy. But then on top of all of that, he is everywhere at all times. He's here right now. I love that. Okay, if you're with me on that, then you probably love it too. But these are facts in the way that I understand the Christian God. These are facts about my first and foremost favorite nickname for God is Dad. These are facts about that. This is just who he is and what he is. So it's a natural reaction, I do believe, for a human being to recoil in this way and think to themselves, okay, well, what's the point? I am being followed everywhere by someone that can do anything. Like what this is awkward. How am I able to, be myself, behave, okay, just live naturally, you know what I'm saying? Oh, act cool, that's all good. God's looking at us, no worries, just act natural. How are you to, even really do that? Hmm. I will I will begin to try and help both of us by establishing this understanding that God is the ultimate source of love. I want that to settle with you for just a second. God is the ultimate. This is the culmination of love. There is nowhere and no one in all of existence that you could attribute to having more love than dad. I really wanted to start there tonight. You you have to understand, if you're willing to follow me, perhaps any kind of paranoia or resistance, okay, which I really do believe is natural. No one wants to be, stalked and have everything they do monitored, detail by detail. But it's a little bit different though when we're talking about God himself, because from a human being to a human being, that's not only is that normal, that's justified. No, that's not how this works. Everyone is entitled to a certain level of privacy. This seems to be getting into I'm not sure how to explain this. This is a little bit okay, I might be reaching tonight, bro. But that's kind of, excuse me, getting into, just some basic human rights here. But when you put God into the picture, and you and I understand he is infinite and endless, he is outside of all of this, and he made everything, and he made you and me, and he knows about everything, the beginning and the end. I still have such difficulty wrapping my mind around yet another fact of God, the beginning and the end, and everything in between at the same time, bro. So, dad thought of you, made you, and then from that moment forward, um, I've been taught by Christians, fearfully and wonderfully. That's how human beings are made by Father. So that means he took a lot of time and he took a lot of care, and he was extremely careful, constructing all of you and what would happen to you for the rest of your life before you were even born. So, regardless of what you think about yourself and the state of your current life, and despite where you think you're going to end up and how you think things are going to go down for you, God already knows all about it. Because I believe that human beings will experience their own individual lives on a very set path. Our brains can only do so much. So this just makes pretty clean sense to me. Uh I'm going to live my life until the day that I die, and from being born to my last day, that's just, really one long, interestingly crazy and wild journey, and it's just, right. I mean, you make choices and decisions every single day, and these actions will make up the events of your life. And it's just gonna go, bro. It's gonna go, 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 go until you're done. This is so crazy to me. Dad knows all of that stuff already. All of it. For everyone. He's he can be there. Technically, he is there right now. At the end of all human existence. Okay. And at the very same time, that is also the author of the beginning of everyone. brother, why am I saying all of this right now? Because I want to take my time with this for, just a couple minutes, might be more than a couple, for us to really see as clearly as possible what is, how is dad the ultimate being of love? How is he of the highest love? Because no matter who you are, and no matter where you come from, and what's happened to you so far, even the things that you've done, to Father, you are still so precious that He will always be willing to accept you as the man that you are. This is that kind of love. When you choose of your own volition to seek God, pursue God, repent to Him, and then follow Him, this is quite possibly the most magnificent union in all of existence, because you're going home. You are returning to the one that knows you the best, that created you, every detail of you, and also has your best interest. All of this is biblically grounded. I'm not deep enough. I'm not able to pull scripture from the Bible and quote it for you. But if you want to see for yourself, it absolutely is in there. I also do believe God works in mysterious ways. So when our vision of what Father believes is truly in the best of our interest, that might not look like that to you and me. It may not appear that way. There is so much pain and suffering and evil and misery in this world. Absolutely. Though, once again, none of it is outside of God's knowing. None of it is outside of God's awareness. When you really begin to let yourself be immersed in everything I've said so far tonight, we'll try and go higher for this one. Okay, maybe get a tiny bit closer to Dad. When you really begin to let all of these things settle within you, then you'll see that's the only being, that is the only one, Dad himself, that you would want to be watching you at all times. This union is you pledging loyalty, because I understand, the horrific, I want to say horrific depths of ego, of pride, and narcissism that any individual human being is capable of. And I say that because in a world as advanced as ours today, it's very easy to fall back on how much you're able to do for yourself. Belief, faith, trust, or I can just continue living my life and making all the decisions and choices I was already making to live my best one. Fair enough. But there are some things that are absolutely beyond a human being. There is such a thing as tragedy. There is such a thing as things not going your way. There are all sorts of unexpected outcomes that can happen to anyone in life. that has them questioning if any of the things that make your life beautiful and amazing and special are really there. You know, people can let you down. People can absolutely break your hearts. People can do very heinous things that are not in your best interest to to instill negativity on you and within you in some way, shape, or form. Knowing that God is always, He always has His eyes on you, is to know the only one who is oriented in the direct opposite direction of all of that. That is who this is this is the full love of God as I understand it. There cannot be any doubt there. There isn't any doubt there. Father knows you the best. He loves you the most. And He absolutely does want the best for you. What's really interesting is, how are you to connect to that? I believe most of this traces back down to faith. Faith itself. So that is faith, and that is belief. That is how much you trust. Without all the evidence and proof so many human beings have been desperately asking for such a long period of time. And all of us on planet Earth are still living in the absence of what I've heard that many deem as insufficient proof. That is really up there, and he is all that He claims Himself to be. He is all that the Bible says that He is. We were given such specific instructions from Jesus Christ Himself to trust in the Lord, follow the Lord, honor the Lord. It's so much. Knowing that He constantly has His eyes on you and He's always watching you, now you're being slowly aligned with a force that you know without a doubt there isn't any here. This is kind of just how God works. It's absolute in this way. It is not conditional, bro. Dad really does love His children in this way. And so that love is so great. That's your choice. It's up to you. For whatever reason, this kind of broke my heart when I first learned about this, because I always thought that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Before meeting God, I really did believe that. So much so, it invoked kind of this spirit of challenge from me. Being younger, I always thought, yeah, that makes sense. Sure. But, if you would have let me take a crack at it, it might not be that bad. Absolutely not. I've been getting, the older I get, the more humbled I get that no. If we're talking about total and full control, that no one can say anything to you or do anything to you to stop you from dictating everything on planet Earth, that has to corrupt absolutely. And then I thought, that's that. So why isn't God corrupted? It's nothing to Him. This still kind of plagues me. And what I mean by plague is it still doesn't really make that much sense. when God has the full capability of wiping, let's, humanity is so microscopic in this way. So it's so far beyond that. When dad has the capability of wiping everything away, just all of it, just anything that our minds can conceive, is just gone. It's just out of here. And yet he doesn't. And for and I believe this is an atheist argument, but I don't see it like that. In my head, it's actually flipped. In my head, I actually see this as one of the greatest pieces of evidence of God's love is actually what I see. And I'd very much like to show you. If I remember correctly, a classic atheist argument goes, I mean, we really are. It's difficult to imagine how small we are. We are so we really are such a speck in the grand scheme of the universe. Like all of space itself. We don't even, like, Earth does not register. I'm sure you definitely know this. Oh, with the power of technology and the internet, nowadays you could easily, pull up super quick. You pull up a video on YouTube to see the visualization of this. It's, I want to say, is very humbling. Okay, for me, it really instills a sense of existential dread in you. Just the sinking feeling of, how is any of this worth it when I can't even see all all of me, all of me being all of us. Okay, what is that? What are we at right now? 8 or 9 billion? That's a lot of people all going through their individual human experience, and then we're bumping into each other while we're doing that. And I believe that's where life gets really messy in a very amazing and terrible way. And all of that is encapsulated in this little tiny speck of basically nothing in the grand scheme of how, just how big space really is. And so I've heard atheists say, how ludicrous is that? I've heard, how arrogant is that to believe this ultimate being who created this entire universe. And I mean, that's just to the best of our understanding. For all we know, it goes far beyond that. Okay, I mean, really, this is where it gets a little bit mind-boggling for me, because I understand God as infinity. When you're trying to capture the essence and the full might, and that's such a crass way to put it, but the full might of God, it's endless. It doesn't actually stop. You know, eternity. Father being this sempiternal being, just on and on and on. There is no end. Not the dad. So who is to say, as big as this universe is, that this is the only one? How many other universes could there be? Because Father truly is this grand of a being. And now, if you're still with me, then okay, wow, that doesn't make much sense. That's just so many. That's just so much space. That's just so much space. No, like space itself, but also literal physical space. That's just, wow. This is very, very expansive. This is, I literally can't count that high. I literally cannot count that high. It's, was it billions, trillions, quintillions? and illions and illions, you know what I'm saying, all the way. And then you got to start putting exponents. It's just, this is a lot. And out of all of it, you pick one tiny planet. And on that tiny planet, every individual, okay, these little tiny specks of nothing that you and I are, Father loves intricately, intimately, flawlessly. I say flawlessly because God is the only one that knows you perfectly. People can know you quite well. You know, your partner in life, your family, your closest friends. And then after that, you'll probably have the best understanding of who you truly are. You may know things that just no other human being possibly could, because they simply are not you. And Father is past all of this. Dad knows you even deeper than that because of how much he loves you. That's who's watching. That's why to me this is proof of such love. I can't. No one could truly emulate God in this way. This is a very meager mortal attempt. But when I try, then I'm so curious. If you can think of anything else, let me know down in the comments below. All I can think of is love. Brother, all I can think of is love. So insignificant, so microscopic, so freaking tiny, so freaking petty. Human beings, I mean. Okay. So bratty. Pretty, I don't want to say so, but like pretty evil. Okay. In general. I mean, not that, you know, I would hope that most people are not, walking around like, I'm gonna be so evil today. Let's freaking go. Okay. That's what I woke up. That's what I'm about. Evil, evil, evil. No, it's that the capability that you and I have, though, of doing such great evil, that is within all of us. So there's that too. And at the very same time, he still loves all of us. That has to be it right there. I can't see any other reason. We don't need to, like, when you reel in the existence of God and how great he really is, there's no reason you and I need to be here. Seriously, bro, really think about this, man. What's the reason? Why do we need to be here? Why do we need to do this human thing? There's absolutely no need. For me, as a believer, it would have to be because you and I are loved. And so we are given, we are given these great gifts of life and sentience and choice, agency and autonomy. And I know humankind has been arguing that these facts, for a very long time. I'm not claiming to know the answer for any of them. I'm just trying to filter all of this tonight through the lens of Father's love. Here's what, brother, see, this is where it gets even doper. And it's also because of this love. Now that you know, that's your dad. That's why I call him dad. I believe he's the father of all. He's everyone's dad. That's super dope. I have to say that's super dope. Christianity, brothers and sisters in Christ. Except when you marry, then it's like, oh no, this is this person's with me. But the rest of you, brothers and sisters in Christ. Father, when wait, so I could be erased. I'm this little tiny piece of nothing, but I'm still here intentionally because God God made you for a reason. You are alive now in this moment for a reason. That's when you trace all this back to love, then I don't know about you, bro, but I'm going to want him to watch me. I love that. I love that so much. Oh my God, dad can see me and he sees my life and he sees my struggles and whatnot. That is so amazing because once again, at the very same time, Lord knows not other human beings are going to have your back in this way. They just might not know who you are. You might not have anybody like that right now in life. And if you do, they may not be the best person in your life to say, oh, this person truly, is looking out for me, has her eyes on me, has my best interest at heart, is really all about me in this way. But these are all the things that you can say, not because you want to say them, bro, but because they are guarantees. This is how God works when he's looking at humankind. Not not always. I'm pretty sure there are all sorts of examples where dad is super fed up with us. And it's just like, rainfire. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, like, really. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, God is infinite. His grace and his patience and his understanding up until a certain point, it's like, can you blame God? Can you blame God? It's like, oh my God, what were we doing? For how long? Okay, maybe that's why Dad was just like, rain the fire. Rain the fire. Just do it. So it's very humbling. It's so humbling. Brother, who are you when God is God? For some men, that's going to be very difficult to embrace. I can imagine because we are born and bred, especially when you want to talk about, modern societal conditioning. Whew, tough. You know what I'm saying? Like the brawn, okay, the boldness, the masculinity, the muscle, the macho, right? Guys need to lead. Guys need to be at the front. Guys need to shield and protect. And I agree with a lot of this stuff. But now what happens when a man needs something to fall back on? Where are you and me to go when everything is not okay? This is tough. This life thing is tough. This is really difficult right now. The most reliable being, force, and source of love is dad. As a believer, when you really begin to embrace this, then you begin to see, wow, so training, the gym, strength training, endurance, cardio, just having a really healthy body, that's going to give you all sorts of benefits. It's going to help make you healthy. You're going to look great, all that good stuff. At the same time, you're doing that to honor your father, to say, thank you. You loved me so much that I was able to have this body where I have my limbs and human beings are born in all sorts of ways. To have the blessing of the standard, and the standard is the majority. Correct me if I'm wrong. The majority, all limbs intact, all your organs. To have that in life, maybe you do, bro. Maybe you don't. Even if you do not, however you are built, you are still built by Father. And so if you are able to, do something for yourself that can give you better health, physically speaking, that is to honor what God gave you to live this life. It's more than just about you. It is becoming bigger than you, because I believe you are now tracing it back to what is the biggest, where you and I really come from. This is why I said home. How God really made you and I, you and me. And then when you take it past that, when you take it past health, and then your walk with God starts to get even more intimate, and you lose your mind is what you do. You try and take on this absolutely insane endeavor of becoming virtuous. Oh goodness gracious, how old are you, bro? You probably have some, unless you're a kid, you definitely have some experience with the world. Have you taken a look out there to try and be virtuous when there is just so much terrible action, so much evil, so much wrongdoing, so much negativity being rewarded and reinforced? The exploitation, the stepping over of each other. Okay? Rules for you, not for me. All of it. What is unjust, what is unfair, what is unspeakable, what is inconceivable. How is this even possible? That is the kind of reality human beings are dealing with. And yet to still choose and be good, to still choose to be good, then that has to be the where is that really coming from? The true catalyst here to incite that kind of behavior inside the heart and soul of any human being. I really want to try and do better. I want to try to do right by people. I want to be a better human being. I want to leave a positive, not a negative impact on everything I come across in life. Everyone. To orient yourself in this way in life is to do the same thing. This is almost the attempt of emulation of God. Because Father does the most good. He did it all. These very detailed, perfectly calculated designs of nature, of existence itself. Anything you hold dear, brother. I'm talking about the things that really light up a man's life. And whether or not you have these things, bro, please understand. You have the potential. The opportunity exists because you are alive, because Dad gave you life and He put you here. Okay, will you or will you not try and chase that attempt to make it happen? Now that's completely up to you. But I'm talking about the things that really bring a man joy and peace. Like things that are worth fighting for, things that are worth protecting, things that are worth giving your life for. You can't, there's no way, I don't believe it, that men would experience these things and still believe that this is not, that this kind of beauty, this kind of blessing is not a gift from God. Brother, I'm talking about the smile on your wife's face to be the first thing you see when you wake up before you go to work. I'm talking about the twinkle in her eye when she finally gets to see you again when you're off of work. I'm talking about the laughter of your children, brother. I'm talking about the stampede of their little tiny feet when they're young. And you hear it already rumbling in the distance as soon as you unlock the front door and you walk in, you know what's on the way. You're about to be tackled by your kid or kids. That 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 amazing smile when your dog returns whatever you threw and they drop it right at your feet because they're so ready for you to do it again. The upwards head nod from one of your boys because this is a man that you trust and he trusts you back, and you've known each other for a long time, and you think to yourself, real life isn't really that bad because I have a brother like this. I'm talking about some of the most amazing parts of a man's life. Like when you really you you took the time to do something well enough that other human beings who come across you would stop you deliberately just to be able to say to you, thank you for what you do. Wow, thank you so much. That really affected me in a positive way. And for you to give it back because you are so touched yourself. All of this requires very specific intentionality of a man to do and to live. Do you believe you'd be interested if there was no one and nothing up there watching you with love, anticipating with such excitement and enthusiasm, you would do exactly that? Try and chase these kinds of experiences. I happen to think of off the top of my head, and you would try and capture these things in life to behold the beauty yourself, to really understand these joys as a man. I truly believe this is what it means to be a rich man in life. That's rich. And so I can't, it, it's so amazing when I think, how is God rich? How is God rich when he sees us behaving in this way? I can't see that as a coincidence. For human beings to be so intentional about the way that they love, about the way that they move in this world, to be a positive force and not a negative force, to be virtuous. Okay, specifically, when you specifically line this up right along with the principles, the doctrine, and the faith of everything that is in the Bible, it it becomes this very harmonious back and forth between man and God, you and the Father, bro. It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing. You know it in your heart that possibly you agree with me when you don't really feel that resistance. To other people, oh my goodness, the resistance goes haywire. Because people, brother, all of us as human beings, so good at hiding what we don't want others to see. So easy for us to show exactly what it is that we want. The games that we all play with one another. Now, this is very personal. I believe Father has no interest in these types of games. Dad is about, Dad just kind of keeps it real all the time. Like just solid 100p. honesty and truth. Dad, he just not, and he could be, but he's still not. He's the only one that really could be, and you and I would never know as a believer. And he still isn't. He doesn't sneak. He doesn't go behind you, bro. Dad, in the way that I understand God, this is very personal, but Father is very upfront. Dad is saying, "This is me. This is what I'm about. What do you think?" And then on top of that, and see, this is why I laugh when people, try and refute this idea, to me, fact, but this idea of God's love. Because after all of that, you and I still have the choice. That is so crazy. God is God. To really be with him, to follow him, to be on his side. Because it can't go the other way around. You and I are too minuscule. We are too nothing. Just not two as in you and me, too nothing. Extremely nothing. Very nothing. You and me. In contrast to everything, Father is all of it. And Dad still takes the time to rejoice. To want that extremely close connection with you, like a truly proud father. And that's such a tough word to use, because one of the worst sins of all time, according to Dad, is pride. But I want to say a proud father, because he is simply so overjoyed that you, a human being, or a being that is from God, whether you agree with that or not, that you're arriving to the decision of joining him. Not religion, not a cult, not peer pressure, not a church, not as controversial as what I'm saying right now. Not that these things are bad, but a true relationship with God himself must be cultivated among the individual and Dad. It is just you two. And it can spread from there. It can grow from there. I mean, well, of course I can. There are some absolutely amazing pastors out there, preachers, Christian mentors, Christian figures, apologetics. I'm actually not sure what an apologetic is, but I know of this word, Christian apologetics, and many more, and many more. We got saints, we got Christian monks and Christian nuns. Okay, shout out to the women. It's a lot. It's a lot of support for Dad, but none of that matters, because you need to take some time for yourself. And really, would you like to? Would you like to support the one who has always supported you? That's who's watching. Brother, talk about obliterating all of your hopelessness, that no matter what you do does not matter. It's so interesting to me that Father stands as this bulwark. He's like a great shield, impenetrable defense to nihilism itself. And now this is just me. This is really just me. I could be completely wrong. But I see nihilism everywhere nowadays in the modern world, bro. Like just in daily life. Like I see it in people, I see it in what we do. I say we because I'm included. Like what I see what people do, not that I'm judging. It just it screams to me, it I don't think it matters. I'm doing this. I'm doing this action, but it doesn't matter. I feel the same way for a lot of my life. But when you rest in the creator, when you take the time to return to your father, goodness gracious, then all of a sudden all of that gets no, all of that becomes really special because you understand these are gifts you're being given. You being given. You, if you are not given it, you're nothing. You can't actually do anything. And that's not a shot at you and me. That's not I believe this is not a bad thing about human beings. No, it's a very good thing. Because if I know that I am simply incapable in all of my strength, as powerful as I could possibly become, there are just some things that are greater than me that I cannot control. I'm not going to be able to dictate how people change. I cannot command other people's opinions. Who am I to judge? And really, and anyone else, though judgment is due when dealing with evil. But I'm talking about those choices and decisions of how one is choosing to live their lives when they are not harming themselves and they are not harming anyone else. Who am I to judge? No, all of that. I feel so much better when all of that is reserved for the one who is capable. I would hope that the one that is capable can do anything. You would want if there was truly one judge to like really call it, good, bad, right, wrong, whatever. You know, this way, that way. Okay, either or, acceptable, unacceptable. It would have to be the one who it would have to be the one who can see it all, knows it all, knows you inside out, outside in. It's just there is no connection closer than that of the one between you and dad. Oh, and I can't quote it fully, but I've always been taught by Christian mentors of mine. That's why you must seek Father first. Dad has to come first, even when it's bitter, even when it's really difficult in life. I'm struggling with that right now, and I don't even want that much. That's why it hurts even more. I I'm so much more understanding if I was asking for the world. Um, you know, can I have these cars in, can the mansion be this big here, and can everyone love me? Oh, and while they're loving me, can they all chant my name too? And then while they're loving me and chanting my name, could they also clap? Could my life just be like this? Like that's one thing. That's one thing. You may be repulsed at the moment. I totally understand, but I'm really not. You know, when a man believes his requests are very humble and simple, and yet God is still quiet, then that's when now faith itself is really being tested here. Now it seems there is a separation between, do you truly love God for God, or do you love God because you know what He's able to do for you? Massive difference right here. And it makes sense to me. God has that right. I know, because any human being can think, but God can do anything though for any of us. Why wouldn't He just give all of us what we want? It would be talk about an eternal utopia on Earth. I feel that, but at the same time, with a with a I say this with a very specific sense of humility here. The thing is, who who are you and I to say that when you and I can't do anything for God? Even if we tried, it's not possible. You can't reciprocate to the one who has it all. Has it all. He owns it all. He made it all. He is it all. So that's where humility starts to do some really special things to the human condition, I believe. I'm not entitled to anything. Breath, life, food, water, your mind, your body, your soul, your limbs, the choices you make every single day. I know how you and I, when you're born with it, you're born with it. You have it. You and I have been living with it and living it since our first breath. It's very easy to take these things for granted. I do it all the time. Everyone does it all the time. It's a very human thing. But that does not change the fact that I believe they're still given to you and me carefully, with a lot of love. My son, my daughter, please have this. Please breathe, have life, live, do do well, and do good by each other. I'm not sure. This is all very personal interpretation tonight, but I believe that Father wants that from human beings because we don't we don't actually have a say in any of this if he unless he allows it. And Father absolutely allows it. You choose, you decide. And I can only imagine how elated Father is when you and I pick him. That's what this is all about, bro. Pick God before you pick anything else in life. That life right there, it's what takes you towards just this very gentle understanding of how dire today's world is in need of compassion. That we really do all need to slow down a little bit and just be there for each other. Unity was always the way. Unity was always the way. Now, again, that lines up with the first unity between you and Dad. Okay, as a man was made whole and complete in Father's image. When you really believe that, you ground your identity in what is unshakable and immovable and unbreakable. You really begin to develop these characteristics for yourself, and then I believe when men are able to do this, that's when we can begin moving in this world and really doing some good, really doing good, because it's in all of it. It's in all of the virtue and just of the teachings and of the blessings of God. And it's really hard. And it's really, really hard. Because how willing are you to really follow Dad and be about him and be for him and be with him when you don't have what you want? I never I've never experienced this challenge as powerfully as I am now. Because I really feel like I've done my time. And again, I'm not asking for much. No one believes me when I say this. Doesn't matter. It's really not much. It's actually a really simple sit down of conversation and food. And I've tried, oh brother, I've tried dozens of times to take this matter in my own hands. And I tried. I gave it everything. I gave it everything I had. Like I did my very best. Like, like this is my S plus performance. Couldn't nail it. Missed it by a long shot, missed it by a hair every single time, but I missed it. It's so elusive. I just can't. And that's what gets really frustrating. But that's when you think, oh, but I thought God was for me. I thought, you know what I'm saying? But why else would I follow you, Dad? Aren't you supposed to bless me? You're supposed to give me all the stuff that I want. No, this is ridiculous. I'm not following you anymore. See, that is not love. It becomes very transactional. That simply isn't love. But where is your proof? You got to check this out, bro. This is dope to me. Where is your evidence? You have that love from God because you can't do anything for him. Nothing. Yet God still rejoices at your presence. Still wants to love you, be with you, guide you, teach you, stand by you, stand with you, guard you, just everything. Because he is your father. And as any good father would want to do that for his child. That's why it's in your best interest. I'm telling you, bro. When a man realizes he is being watched by God, you're able to breathe. You're able to live, with a more peaceful, relaxed walk in life. It's okay, bro. It's like if you're with God, no, you're gonna be all right. You're going to be all right. And that's scary because that's going to take a certain amount of trust and faith from you. But brother, you see, my question to you is, if you don't give it to God, where else are you going to place your faith and trust in? And if you can't think of anything, I believe that's killing many of us. That is bringing ruin to many men. I don't have faith in anything. I don't believe any of you. With all that talk and your motives and your agendas and your objectives. It's tough. It's tough finding real ones. They're just genuine people. It's a lot because you can't watch what people say. You must watch what they do. It's tough, bro. Father, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. That is very consistent. It's just he's God. Okay? That is my earnest request and also kind of a challenge for you tonight. Try. You think about all the things that you've already tried in life and it didn't go your way. Try going with God. And if you're hesitant or if you already have, you could be decades in. I'd love to hear all about it by all means, if you'd like to, in my comments down below. And I thank you so much for being here, chilling, vibing, hanging out with me tonight. And that's what I do. Here at the Pillars of Man podcast, I talk about movies, anime, life, to help you with yours. And if you like content like that, hit the subscribe button for me. Shoot me a like, comment, all that good stuff. You listening on Spotify? Let's follow me on Spotify. Wherever you find this, follow me, because I'd love to catch you for the next one. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much. Peace.